And my sister here with me. And yes, Missy here, don't care. I'm literally in my pajamas. I still am not 100%, but you know what? We're just we're just going live because why not? Uh, all right. So we're gonna get into this. We're just gonna talk about the Beaumont children. So, and feel free to just jump in anytime. So,
Okie dokie.
um, okay.
Look
Okay.
at Leia.
Yeah, she's cute. Quite good. I mean, you know what? She is a big distraction, so there you go. Bye, spots.
She is the cutest distraction, though. I know I've got mine back.
I know
I
y'all were hating on
can't
me
see
the
it.
other day for drinking a shake without a straw, So now I have a Death Eater cup with a Dumbledore straw.
It's freaking adorable. Oh my gosh. I love it so much.
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna put in my headphones. That might help. Make sure
It
that
does.
they are attached. Is my Bluetooth on? I think so. Maybe.
Oh
Okay.
no.
All right. Okay. Okay. Cool. Where did I go? Where did my thing go? Prepared, can't you tell? We
So
just
prepared.
decided that we were just going to do this. All right, so this is on the Beaumont children. The family led a fairly lovely life. So this was in 1966. So it's been a while.
Whoa.
Yeah, but the mother, Nancy, was a stay-at-home mom who looked after the couple's three children, while
Wow.
Jim, the father, he was a linen product salesperson who roamed the neighborhood to meet with new clients and did like the door-to-door sales routine, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So they had been residents of Adeline for some time when Jane met their first child. So she was born on September 1956.
Hmm.
And then they had Arnia on November 1958. And
Sounds like they
Grant,
came from Narnia.
I know, right? Arnia came through Narnia. Well, maybe that's where they ended up. I don't know.
Oh,
Um,
that's just depressing. Oh no. They went through the wardrobe at the very end of their life. They just disappeared into a wardrobe.
well, no, I can't. Okay, give me a sec, Kylie. Yes, there's a way we can open it, but give me a sec, okay? Oh my
She's so
gosh.
cute. She's like, "Hi, mom. Hi. Hi."
Okay, now that they've gone through Narnia, um, well, that's her name, Arnia. So, and Grant, was born in July 1961. So, the little looking house that they lived in, which was on 109 Harrington Street, located in Somerton's suburbs, was home to the five Beaumont family members. Um, if the name Somerton sounds familiar to you, that's because that's where I did that story, where that man in 1948 who was nameless, was an unknown, was actually discovered there. He was on the beach in like a suit, and then he had that note encrypted into his pants. Yeah, so the name's Somerton. That's where it's from. And you creeped out right now.
That's a note in pants? What?
Oh,
I
oh
know
yeah.
people used to sew like diamonds into clothing, but like
Okay, so
notes
no,
into
it wasn't
clothing?
just a note. It was actually a page from this book, The Romanton, which is actually a rare book. And not only that, the apparently this book was placed into this random guy's car. And then months later, when they're talking about this case, he realizes that this is the book that they're talking about because it has the exact same page missing, and he brings it to the police. And then they find like numbers and names of people in it and like an actual address and track it down to this woman that actually the book belonged to.
Okay, that is so weird. That is
Anyway,
literally like turning everything like, oh my gosh, so
oh
weird.
yeah, no, they actually cracked the case and actually figured out who he was and found like his great great niece and nephew
Weird.
um that had been discovered. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. That's the Somberton man. Um if you guys want to know more on that one, I can link that one for you too. So yeah, I'll find that and I'll link that one. But that's the Somberton man, and that one's a little crazy.
That just sounds crazy, but like such a good trail to follow. Such
Well,
a
like
fun
they had
Sherlock
people
Holmes
from all.
trail to
They
follow.
actually cast his whole face, which was like newer, especially for 1948. Like they casted molded face and then had people trying to come around and identify him.
That's
Um,
crazy.
yeah. So they actually dug him up recently, and when they dug him up, they actually were able to um, identify him through DNA.
That's insane.
Anyway, that's another story, and that might be why that sounds familiar. Anyway, there's the whole story if you want to go to the website and view that one. That one is on its own. Okay, so that maybe you know what? Maybe let's stay away from Stomberton, Australia, because weird shit
I don't need to
happens.
go there. I don't need to go to
Okay,
a city
and
where
then
multiple people weirdly get killed.
yeah. Okay, so yes, that's where that came from. So all right. So, what concerns did the Beaumonts have the weeks before? They didn't have any concerns about their safety of their children, in their little corner of their little suburbs. There wasn't anything to be afraid of. The couple didn't hesitate to let their children like go around and escape to the beach where that man was found. Um, During the summers, in Australia, where the temperatures actually stay steady and then they climb to about 100 degrees for us Americans. I mean, this just became like a routine. They wanted to go down the beach. It's freaking hot. You go in and you go play in it. No big deal, right? And I mean, to be a helicopter parent wasn't really a thing right then either.
A thing back then. No,
Yeah,
like even for us, we just were told, "Hey, go to the park, go play, come back
exactly.
when it's dinner time."
Yeah. So this became like a routine. For 3 weeks, the kids had made repeatedly trips to the beach without any issues. So they were a little bashful and a little shy, like when new people would approach them. So like they weren't like outgoing and spoken. They were kind of like, but they were able to interact with other kids sociably, but other adults they kind of were wary of. So it's not like they would have gone up to some random person and just been like, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah.
Hold on. Yes, Kylie, I will in a minute. Okay, give me. Yes, give me a second. Okay. All right. Okay. This is the joys of doing it live. You get no interruptions. Okay, so and Arnya actually frequently made fun of like um Jane, saying that she made a friend and she had a
Oh.
guy down at the beach that she was hanging out with. But
Ah.
the family didn't really give it much thought. They were just like, oh, okay, like they're just teasing each other.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like, why would they? Like, it was only a joke by
Oh yeah.
a 7-year old.
They
So,
got their little friend.
right, exactly. Like, I mean, you tease
7-year-olds
them
have
all the
like
time, like,
their
oh, do you
yeah.
have a boyfriend? Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, seriously. It's like you with Kylie right now. Kylie, do you have a boyfriend? That's just
yeah. Well, so even like they joked and said, that are you gonna miss this guy because he said he's gonna be away for a few days, because he was leaving town. Um, and Grant, So apparently Grant, the 4-year old, walked over to say goodbye to his father just before his dad left on business. And
Mhm.
on the morning of January 26, 1966, everything appeared to be typical. It was an Australian day, which, for those of us that live abroad, we're not familiar with Australian customs, but I mean, this is very comparable to like the July 4th or Canadian Day, Canada
Yeah,
Day.
okay.
So, in honor of like Australians' heritage and pride, and so it's a very happy occasion. Like it's a happy, fun day, you know.
Yeah.
So Nancy didn't hesitate when the kids requested to go to the beach due to it's freaking scorching. It's 100 degrees outside. It would keep them occupied and content for a few hours, you know.
Oh, yeah, you want anything to keep them not cooped up and busy in your head, in your
Right.
face all the time.
Yep, exactly. So on the morning of January 26, 1966, everything appeared to be typical. It was an Australian day, which for those of us living abroad, I've already gone for that. Okay. All right. So, and then, I mean, then she herself would have plenty of time to just visit with her friends and while the kids are occupied, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so she actually remembers, she's like, I handed the kids 8 shillings in money so that they could buy snacks along the beach. And she just let them go with,
It
not a
was normal
concern.
back then.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't a concern. It's just like, okay, whatever. So a number of witnesses, including the bus driver, saw the kids board a bus actually around 10:10 in the morning. The oldest, Jane, was holding a copy of Little Women, which had been one of her favorite books, according to a woman who saw them. This woman, by this woman's account, was supported by her ability to, like, she was able to recall like the distinctive colors of clothing that the 3 kids were wearing.
Mhm.
So they thought, okay, this is actually a credible witness.
Okay.
So around 10:15, the bus actually departed on its route, taking the kids to the beach. You went there frequently. Again, not a big deal. It's a palindrome as discovered. Like thinking sideways. Um, as so sorry, I got mixed up right there.
Oh,
With my
you're fine.
paragraphs here. This is where I edit shit out. So, all right. So the children from Beaumont are virtually unknown for the next hour or so. I mean, they think that, you know what, these kids are obviously at the beach, but no eyewitness has seen them since then. Okay. The children's neighborhood postman, who knew them well remembers seeing them about this time. Tom Patterson, who could, recognize the kids on a daily basis,
Mhm.
claimed he actually had seen the 3 kids on Jetty Road, some 10 or so blocks north from their home, walking in the direction of the beach. And that wasn't out of the ordinary for them. So, and he kind of made some mental note, possibly that could have messed up the timeline of like where they went, because he's saying they were walking down where they normally went. And this woman is saying, no, they got on the bus and she knew exactly what they were wearing. So there's 2
Ooh.
different accounts of where they were at the same time.
Oh, okay. And that's hard to believe, like, which one was real, but, like, the gal on the one with the bus with all the clothing descriptions sounds a lot more realistic than the
Right.
other one.
Right. Um okay. And then hold on one sec. I'm gonna be right back. I have a child emergency. Hold on one sec.
Oh, there's a cute puppy. So yes, please, Clark Griswold. Yes, so there's a postal worker who knows the kids and familiar with them. Then there is the other woman. Let me ask Adrian when she returns. She'll look at these chat messages. Oh, wait. The other woman was the one who just saw them get on the bus. The other woman saw the three kids with a description of their clothing and saw them get on a bus. At least that is what I can confirm right now. From like memories of a goldfish. I have a goldfish brain, so I wonder if she knew them previously. I have no idea if this woman had seen them previously or not. It's a little crazy if she did, but I think she was just a random stranger at that point and just someone who noticed the kids out of the ordinary. But like, it's always the way I think is like, was this a person who obviously went to the bus as well and continued to like see the kids on a regular basis but never really interacted with them? I believe the postal worker knew the kids. I don't know this case that well. I'll wait till Adrian comes back and she'll be able to answer that question. She, I know, is getting something together with her small humans. I think she's helping her small humans eat something. It is kind of that time of day for a lot of people. Actually, it's like 10 o'clock her time.
Wait, what? It timed
Mm.
out?
No, it did time out, but I'm okay because I'm answering this guy's questions on chat.
Oh, okay.
Actually, he doesn't know. Can you see the chat on Twitch? Do you have your Twitch chat open?
Who is the woman?
Yeah, he's talking about the postal worker. The postal worker knew the kids. That's
Yeah,
what they're questioning.
so the worker knew the kids because I mean he was there every day, and he saw them going back and forth, like walking back and forth every day. So the postal worker does this is it was in 1966, so it's very common. And this postal worker, of course, was walking back and forth every day. Okay,
So
sorry
those
about
are the
that.
two accounts we have. Is the you're fine is the postal worker's account, and then the random stranger who saw them get on the bus. Right.
Yep, yep.
Cool. That's
So
what
we
I
have
was
a random
clarifying.
stranger that saw them on the bus and that can clearly um, depiction their actual, like what they were wearing at the time. So they can say she like said like in details like they were wearing this and this, and it matched exactly with what the mom said that they were wearing. And then the witness that said that the postal worker said, no, I swear I saw them walking. But I mean, if you think about it, if you see them walking regularly a lot, then could you have accidentally just like messed it up and thought that you saw them that exact same day?
That's what I'm thinking. Is like they could have just thought, oh, I see them every this day. I
Yep.
definitely saw them. I think I saw them this day as well. That's an easy way to do that account.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of, an interesting thought process. I'm thinking that I'm leaning with, maybe the postal worker missaw them because he sees them
Hmm.
almost every day. And so that it just came like a second nature, like, oh, of course that's what they were doing, you know?
Oh yeah, there's so many ifs here. We really don't fully know because it's so old. But like that's
Yeah.
what we're here to theorize about. Is what do we think
Right.
is actually true? I would
So,
say the depiction of who saw with the outfits
right.
because I would say that account
Yeah.
is true because they saw that
Because that,
specific clothing they're wearing.
mm, yeah. Okay. So, the next hour or so remained a total mystery. The children's neighborhood postman, okay, we went through that. Okay. Um, but again, like it said in here, that wasn't unusual for the three of them. He's like made a mental note. Oh, they're walking that way, and then when was questioned, was like, yeah, pretty sure they were walking towards the beach, which would also line up with their mom's account of they were going to the beach that day.
Yeah.
So sometimes they took the bus there, and sometimes they walked. It kind of depended. So, um, okay, and then it looks like there was two different beaches. Let's see. Well, let me see. Okay, he saw them going down towards Glendale Beach, and let's
And
see,
where did the bus go?
he saw them going. Yeah, Glendale Beach. Both of them. Both of them were to the same beach,
Oh, okay, okay.
which is the same beach that the Somberton man was found.
So creepy that this beach has so many icky towards it.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of crazy. Um, okay. So, yeah, no one knows exactly where they were for a whole hour because no one can actually like say for sure, like, I don't know where they were for an hour. Um, so a senior citizen who was relaxing on the beach around 11 that morning, remember seeing the three kids playing in the sprinklers on the Coley Reservoir. So this was not unusual for the kids also to be seen playing at this location. Because they had sprinklers and it was like a grassy area. It resembled a park. So nearly an hour after viewing, these kids were already at the beach. So there were witnesses nearby who remember seeing them, but regrettably, the size of
The beach is
um
huge.
yeah. So the size of the beach and the presence, there were several tourists and strangers because it was a celebratory um weekend.
Okay, so it was a holiday.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, it was like they're kind of like 4th of July or Canadian Day. Um so the same elderly woman who saw the kids in the sprinklers also saw a younger looking male watching the kids in a blue swim trunks.
Hmm.
For less than 15 minutes later, this woman noticed him playing with the kids while he was still lying face down in the grass at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. The same elderly woman and at least three other witnesses described the suspect as being around 6'1", slim,
Oh
with
wow.
blonde hair, and have a thin looking face. He had been observing the three Beaumont kids for a short while before making friends with them, and he reportedly was wearing that blue bathing suit.
So
The
I wonder if
suspect, go
the
ahead.
kids knew him before. Like if the kids had randomly seen him at the beach
Or
before.
maybe this is that guy that one girl was teasing the other girl about.
That's true. That's what I was thinking. Maybe that's her boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah,
Her adult friend.
yeah. Especially because they were said to be not like, they were kind of standoffish towards adult strangers.
Yeah, that's true. So he would definitely have to be their friend or know them for quite a bit of time for
Not
them to approach
necessarily. I
them.
mean, they've
No?
actually done studies too of like where you think that your kid wouldn't do something because you've already talked to them about stranger danger, and they do it.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, he
so
did. He approached them while at the beach, right? That's what they're
yeah,
asking.
well, while they're in the sprinklers,
The sprinkler area.
yeah. So the elderly woman claims that this witness was around 6'1", skinny blonde hair, and had a thin face. He apparently was wearing that blue bathing suit and been watching those youngsters for a short amount of time. Um, and then started becoming acquainted with them. Although it's uncertain who this man is, and interviewing years had passed, like so over the years,
Mhm.
um, he has emerged to the leading target for suspicion. Numerous speculations have been put into regarding this man and who the identity of this man is.
Mm.
Um, those who saw him appear said that this man was in like his mid 30s. There had been whispered that this was the boyfriend, like
Yeah.
we mentioned. Um, and then maybe he's been making friends with them for weeks and then to slowly gain trust and then kidnap them.
Which would totally make sense. That's how child predators work. That's how murderers work.
Yeah. And the children were actually seen, so accounts by this elderly woman, leaving the beach with this unidentified man.
Mm.
So they were seen actually holding hands. So two of the children were holding hands with this man and they walked away.
Yeah, that's what sometimes I wonder is why did the elderly woman pay so much attention, but she didn't do anything about it?
A lot of people don't though because like they don't want
They
to get
they don't
involved.
want the confrontation. They just feel like, oh, okay, maybe they do know them. There's too many ifs, I think, in people's heads when they see that kind of stuff.
Be like, well, maybe it is a family friend, or maybe okay, now they're holding in this hand. They must know them. They're not screaming for help, you know,
Some people do just pay too much attention though. They like to watch people and they just like to like be
which is
nosy that way.
fine, but like, I mean, at the same time, you should say something. Like, I watched, there was this boy who was not around my neighborhood. I mean, he was a teenager. I watched in my car this other truck was came up behind him, like sped past him in my neighborhood, and then someone on the passenger side got out, grabbed him, and threw him in the car. And yeah, you bet your ass I followed that car. I followed that car until the police were on their trail.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. When did this happen?
It was about 3, 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh, that's
I've
insane.
also witnessed people hitting and running, like hitting kids and taking off. Not at this neighborhood, but actually my mom's house. Um, yeah. So, but the thing is I'm always going to say something. I'm not gonna
You're
not say
not
something.
gonna not say something if you notice something. I know, I wish I knew who hit our trash cans. We literally have broken shard glass, like, of headlights because someone hit our trash cans. Our trash cans were in the gutter. I was like, "Seriously? Why?"
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I feel like this other woman, like, I mean, if she can vividly remember this, she should have done something. But I think that too, people are like, it's not proper to get in other people's business. Like, that's
Yeah.
just like
Well,
our
especially
standard,
back then. Now people are way too much in each other's business. But back then in the
right?
60s, you were if you were in their business, like, people were like, stop. Mm."
Right. They're like, that's impolite.
And nowadays people are like, "I don't care if it's impolite or not. I will say what I wanna say."
Okay, so there's still eyewitnesses going on about this after this. So the next half hour or so, they would be spotted at Wetzel's Bakery. This
Okay.
happened around like 11:45 to 12:15 in the afternoon. There are several different versions of this given time and who they were and were not with and what they were and were not wearing.
Okay.
So, um, so apparently the kids came in to buy a few croissants and other snacks. They also bought
Okay.
meat pie. Um, 1 pound notes were used to pay for everything, which raised some intriguing questions. The first
But didn't
question was, who did the kids buy the meat pie for? Because I mean, that is a more an adult thing. But I mean, again, my son eats sushi, so
yeah, they could have really just loved meat pies. But didn't their mom only give them eight shillings?
8 shillings. Yeah.
How much is 8 shillings to a pound?
I
I have no idea.
And it depends on back then too.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's true.
that's what people are concerned about. Like, what? So you're gonna spend, that money on a meat pie, like instead of just like more snacks or
Candy.
something.
Yeah. Like something smaller that you know you like really love. That's
And
true
like
though.
their
They
parents say that they don't remember any of these kids like actually interested in eating a meat pie.
so then they definitely did not buy it for themselves.
That's
And
what
Clark is
the
bringing
theory
up a
is. Yeah.
point of like the kids could have saved money if they just walked to the beach that day instead of taking the bus.
Yeah, because they
So
already
where did
spent
they
some
get?
money on the beach, so like they have limited funds,
Yeah,
and they're
so
gonna spend
someone
it on a
gave them
meat
this
pie.
money. Yeah, someone definitely gave them more money to buy the meat pie, most likely.
Yeah, that's what they're thinking. So, like, so the mom Nancy actually can even like remember clearly that only ever giving her kids 8 shillings, never 1 pound. So she didn't even give their kids that much.
Yeah, they gave them enough basically for some sweet treats, and that's it,
Mm-hmm.
so that they
So I
would come
mean,
home when they're hungry.
it was like pocket money, like.
Yeah,
And then
it's like go
I
buy
mean,
a
this is
candy bar.
like, yeah, to buy like a candy bar, yeah, like to buy snacks with, not a full meal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's
Oh
like,
yeah.
I knew my kids were gonna spend it on probably junk, so I just got
Give
them to get
them a
them a
small
few
amount of junk.
snacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if this account is true, because again, this is different times that people claim that they saw them, different outfits the whole time.
Mm.
So if this part is true, this implies that they probably got the funds from like a third party, most
Yep.
likely that odd beachside man. And it was probably for him. But like that man was not seen in that bakery with them.
Maybe he didn't want to be seen with them though, because that would raise the suspicion.
Well, I mean, if you have a kids with you and a man, like,
That's true. It just looks like you're their kid, your father. They're your
yeah,
kids.
I guess not
Maybe he
wanting
had
to
to go get
be
something else set
identified
up.
or something.
Yeah, he was setting something else up on the side, like starting his hustle while the kids were in the shop. He was getting everything else ready. Like
Yeah,
maybe he had a secondary man working with him or woman. He had a
yeah.
partner working with him.
I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, he went. The kids all went willing with him too, so it's
That's
not
true.
like, yeah. So, so people are like, well, maybe like he was sitting on a bench or something, waiting for the kids to come back. I don't know. Okay, so there's another witness that observes this kids with this man,
Mhm.
and now these are saying, this is like a serious concern because, um, this man reported that the man actually helped the kids put their clothing on after they've been playing in the sprinklers,
Mm. I don't like that.
um, which is quite like strange, if like
You're not
if
that
it's just
close
like a
to someone.
random man that's going to
Yeah.
help you put his clothes on. Yeah. And that's probably also why that old woman was like, okay, they have to be like related or something.
Most definitely, because other people wouldn't even willingly want to be touching small children that aren't theirs.
Okay. And like, okay, so the one girl, Jane, so she's very, very skittish and standoffish.
Mm.
Um, her parents say that that is very unusual, especially for her, because half the time, like, she won't even, I mean, she's 9-year old, but half the time she doesn't even let her mom dress her.
Oh wow.
And so she's like, I don't see that she would have been felt comfortable doing that. She was very quite shy and very kind of like protective of her
Timid.
own body. Yeah.
That makes
But
sense.
I
So they
mean, who's to
definitely
say
had
that
to be
he
familiar.
was actually helping her?
That's true. Like a different sibling could have been helping her, and
Or she
like
could be doing it by herself while he was helping the other
yeah,
kids.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So, a different elderly woman that was seated on the park bench. So there's another, elderly woman that's not doing anything. Um, Close to two other elderly people who were holding their grandchildren. So there's three of them now, three elderly women.
Okay.
Um, they claim that a strange man approached them and asked whether they had seen anyone tampering with his attire.
Huh?
He appeared to like abandon it for a while, and then claiming to be short on cash, saying that someone had stolen money out of his wallet.
Oh, so the 1 pound. But huh. Clark is wondering how old are the kids?
We've got um okay. I know I went through this one, so let me see here. We've got Jane, who's 9.
Clark, you're right.
Ariana is 7, and Grant is 4.
Okay. So 9, 7, and 4. And yeah, the
Mhm.
beach was definitely littered with a bunch of useless elderly people. You're not wrong. They're literally elderly and useless.
They're seeing all this stuff happen, and they're just like, oh
Do
well. It's kind of
do
weird,
do
but oh well.
do 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 do. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Not wrong though. Not wrong.
No gosh.
That's
Yeah,
freaking
nope.
funny.
Not wrong at all.
Funny.
Okay. Let's see. Where was I? Do do do. Okay. I was. Do do do. I messed up because now I went back for the kids' ages.
Sorry.
I know. It's all your fault. Um. Okay. Perhaps they were waiting by the nearby porch. Okay. Okay. Um. Close on. Okay. So yeah. So he was saying that someone tampered with the tire and he was asking for cash. Okay. Then taking some time, he started like dressing the kids immediately, like after that. Like so after he asked for cash, he's like dressing the kids. And this is the only recorded sighting of the eyewitnesses is these elderly women that are
Are
useless.
useless. They're nosy and useless.
Yeah, exactly. So, they were instructed to catch the midday bus home. And so when that came around, and they've been pretty good about always being on time. And that's one reason why, like, Nancy, the mom, could trust them to go out.
Yeah.
Um, they didn't show up. So she actually arrived a little bit earlier than the bus arrived so that she could get the kids' lunches ready. So as soon as the bus like stopped, and it stops pretty close to their house, they weren't there.
Mm.
So she was like, okay, you know what? Maybe they missed the bus because it is tourist season. Maybe the buses were full and
Yeah.
they couldn't get on this one. So, because people were coming out like, why didn't you call the police right away? Well, it's not an
They're kids.
emergency at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah. And
They're
it has
kids. They could
happened
have
in
just
the
missed
past,
one
but just it's
easy
not
buzz.
constant that it happens.
Yeah. Or they could have
So,
walked. They could have been walking home. Yeah, you're completely right, Clark. They could have just been walking home.
yeah, yeah. So it could have taken them like a little bit longer to get there. So, yeah. And I mean, of course, if they were kids today, they would not be able to even go on a bus alone. Are you kidding me?
No. Oh
But
no.
I mean, this was a quiet little town besides the man that was in a suit with the secret pocket with the note from the book. Everything was fine. um so the children may have been seen twice or more in the following hours, but that's their last confirmed sighting.
Okay.
And nothing that investigators have when they've been, you know, um, doing their investigation, they can't determine that any of the sightings are true.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, so, the postman too. So this is Tom Patterson. He claimed, he saw the children. He claimed in the morning. Then he retracts it later, and he says that
Really?
it's likely that he passed them in early afternoon, um, and that they were walking home and missed. So that would match up with missing the bus.
Okay, okay.
But I mean, again, like, and people are always like, well, he's just flip flopping and changing his story. And I'm like, well, you got to think though, if he sees them almost every day, to remember exactly
Mhm.
which day they
They
were
did what?
walking to or from, like, your brain would get kind of muddled and mushed. You know what I
It would just
mean?
kinda, like, mush everything all together,
Yeah.
and yeah.
So it totally could be, total confusion on, oh, wait, no, I saw them that, no, maybe it was this, So, um, so yeah, so the children's father, this is Jim Beaumont. So he left his work after like 3 o'clock. He's a sells door to door salesman. He's been selling his linens, um, 2 hours north, which is in a completely different town. So
Yeah.
he left work at just after 3. So he's going to get home around 5. Because of course, the parents are one of the first suspects too. So,
Of course they are. Like, the dad's away, mom says she didn't do it, yeah.
well, they always are just because they're close.
It's
So Nancy has been waiting for any news or any side of the children's family home, um, and
oh,
they're still,
okay.
obviously they're still not there, and so when Jim gets home, which is 5 o'clock now, they attempt to follow in their children's footsteps. So they make their way up to the shore. They go back and forth. They're just like searching for them to see if there was a hint left behind, a piece of clothing, if anyone saw them. And there's nothing, no
Did
results.
they look into the postal worker? What I was asking.
Yeah, I mean, they did interview him. And I mean, yeah, he had those two different stories. One where he saw them in the morning, and one that he claimed that they were walking home is when he saw them. Um, but that's it. Like, so, um, I mean, they weren't able to locate their children. There was no clothing, no towels, or even like that copy of Little Woman that Jane like held around all the
Love.
time. There was nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing of theirs was left behind. So around 7:30 is when they called police.
Okay.
So Nancy ended up staying home. She was told to stay home just in case they showed up. And Jem spent the entire night looking for them and going to the door and trying to find them.
Okay.
And again in the morning, they just kept searching for them too, retracing the child's movements, potential destinations of like normally where they go, um, just doing all their steps of where they would have gone. So some theories on this are like possibly that they had been carried away by the tide, that they went in too far, and
Really?
yeah. But to
I
have
don't
all
believe
three
that.
of them, yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that they just went away in the water.
Well, and have none of their personal belongings found.
Yeah, no, because they would find something on the beach, something around. I don't believe
A
that.
book, a towel, clothing,
Something.
something, right? So yeah, so it actually, it turned to the entire country pretty quickly. So they made like a whole appeal for children's lives on TV.
Oh, wow.
And so I mean they went live
Sorry.
trying to find what.
All these elderly women just watching them go away in the tide. Goodbye, children! Goodbye! I'm sorry. I can't. Oh, oh.
That is fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
That is fantastic. Yes. They just
Yeah.
take them all away.
Just goodbye, goodbye. Let the waves take me away.
And then the elderly
Oh my
people are
gosh.
just watching. Here's your clothes. Take them with
Here's your
you.
book. Don't forget to read that while you're swimming. Take it. We know you like this.
Oh
Yeah,
my
no. Oh my
gosh.
gosh. Oh
So
my
everyone with the
gosh.
connection to the Beaumonts was looked into, like their workplace, neighborhoods, friends. Um, so like they were just everywhere was kind of looked into. And then anyone that looked like this blonde young man was a suspect. Like sketches were made on based on eyewitnesses,
Really?
try to like get a good appearance of this, but the eyewitness drawings are all different,
They're just different so much.
and then some people are claiming that this guy had a foreign accent, and
Oh,
some are
so they're
like,
just claiming a bunch of weird
oh
stuff.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
Hey, get those. Can you delete those messages?
I already did.
Oh, you did? Oh, they're still showing up
Mhm.
on screen. I'm gonna make them go away by just sending cute emotes. Eh. You have questions for this postal worker. I also have questions for this postal worker. Like, what was he doing?
What would you
Seriously, what was
ask?
he doing? What would you ask the postal worker?
Yeah,
That's a good question. I would ask the postal worker, do you have your head screwed on straight? Because you obviously don't know what the kids are doing when. Because I don't think he's. Yeah, he knows the kids because he sees them every day, but I don't think he has the account for that day. Yes. You want to know the time frame of him being interviewed and him switching his story? I agree. I agree.
I do agree, but I also see the point of like why it's so mismatched, because like if you're seeing them every day and it's happening on a reoccurrence, it's easy to miss up a day.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it's really easy to mess up, but like when it's this important,
I
do you
know,
think he'd
but like
try to like
it but at the same
recreate it?
time it's not that important to you and when it
That's
happened.
true. That's true.
Like at that
That's true.
time, like let's say like you're going to work and every day you see someone walking their dog and one time they're not.
Yeah,
Are you going to remember that one day at that one specific time that they're
that's
not?
true.
Or are you going to
That's
think
true.
that they were walking their dog because that's normally what they do?
Yeah. But if you switch the story after a year, I get it, but a matter of like a week. Yeah, I get it. Like, but I get it. It depends like how old is this postal worker too, like how stressed he is, like yeah.
So
His
they do get
story
a
could be
call like
wishy-washy.
a year later saying that they have all three of them, and
Oh,
they tried to transfer. So it was a newspaper staff, and the newspaper staff was trying to transfer it to the police. um so he said, I want the reward money for them. It must be a worthwhile reward. And the caller that was trying to transfer them to the police, I don't know if it was on their end or the person that was calling, but it got disconnected.
he's saying the postal worker is also elderly. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Continue. Ooh,
So the
if we
police
didn't.
didn't rule that out. It could have been a hoax, um, but they never got another call like that again. And again,
Okay.
it's a he said, she said. There's no record of it.
Situation.
So yeah. So there is a cave that is over there by the cove too, so that they might have wandered off in. So they had detectives like search everything there, and nothing came
Well,
up
because
again.
like the tide literally could have accidentally came up in the cave and they could have drowned in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the lakes for this like remain cold. So and then
Really?
one woman came forward with information. About 6 months had passed since the Beaumont kids had vanished, and she insisted she saw something strange on Jan in the night of January. That the Beaumont
Oh
family,
wow.
when they vanished, so she discovered an abandoned house next door, and she assumed it was uninhabited. Although the Beaumont kids had vanished, she insisted that strange
Okay.
things had been observed that January night. The same night that they vanished, she said that she saw a man enter that abandoned house
Okay.
next door, and she thought that it was an empty house, and then he was I can't speak, accompanied by two little girls and a boy. So this mother asserted that the boy had left the house hours later and began walking down the street when he was pursued and again like held by the man that let him into the house before and drug him back in. So the woman decided not to report this to investigators for months. And again, I mean, the thing is people are so afraid to like say something. Like, well, it's none of my business. Like, and they just, especially back then, like, you mind your own business and don't worry about it, you know? So I don't know. First of all, I think that it's a little too convenient that this woman had claimed to be witnessing something so suspicious, um, especially 6 months after, and claim it happened on that night. But and for at least a year following the disappearance, I mean, other people had reported sightings and suspects. But I mean, all of these have just led to nothing besides the fact that people are now watching their children more. So yeah. Okay. And then they had a 57-year-old, which is another almost, I guess, elderly, yeah, psychic from the Netherlands. He assessed to be like one of the groundbreaking psychics, not grounded by science, but spiritual and paranormal beliefs. Okay. Um, in the beginning years of the World War II, detectives actually used him in a few of those cases. Why can't I hear you? Oh, you're gone. Why are you
Like
gone? There you go.
completely. I
Here
disconnected
we go
completely. I don't
again.
know how.
Yes. Here we go again
Sorry.
with the, oh, you're fine. With the elderly people. Yep.
Oh
The only
no,
psychic.
elderlies. Oh,
Yeah.
can't.
I think you missed this. So there's a 57-year-old elderly psychic from the Netherlands that has actually helped
Oh,
investigators in the World War II crisis,
oh
and Dutch
gosh.
detectives. Yeah. And
Mm.
he says he claims that he has helped find young women's murderers, earning him the respect of the European nations. Okay.
Okay, okay. Here we go with these elderly psychics. All right. I don't know if I can trust some elderly psychics as much as I can trust some elderly postmen.
Yeah. So he claims that a successful businessman ended up in Australia and since November of 1966 and had been watching these kids and then had decided to take them away but couldn't tell us where they were.
Okay. It seems like he's just trying to get us to give him money for
Well, and
information.
it's like, dude, that's what the media has already said.
Yeah, you're not giving us anything new. You're giving us what you could have researched, and then you're trying to put your name out there more into the media
Yeah.
for your business.
Yeah. So the Beaumont's parents reportedly did not want to work with him and
Well,
called
duh.
him a liar.
Well, yeah, I
Weird.
would have too.
But people were very eager to see like what he had to say despite that.
Mm.
Um so this started to make the disappearance of the kids more of a public spectacle instead of and psychic detective
Oh god.
media, international media, instead of actually helping.
Finding. Yeah.
So yeah, that's why like the parents, Jim and Nancy, declined to meet with him. They're like, no. And police also made that decision, was like, nope, they thought he was a crook.
Oh
But the
yeah.
public thought that he was,
A
God's
godsend.
gift to Earth. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's like, this psychic is gonna prove everything. Let's believe
Yeah.
what they exactly say. Nah. Nah, bro. Not doing it.
So, and then, so he first said all that, like, oh, well, the kids were, and they weren't abducted because, like, they were going with this man, so they willingly went. And then he comes back with this. He boldly asserted that he did not think the kids were abducted at all, but they had been trapped under flooring that was recently built in a warehouse building when he greeted a sizable audience at the Glendale Beach, where the
Eh?
Beaumont kids had vanished. Additionally, he had the audacity to promise that he would find these kids in 2 days.
Uh, and did he? No. No, he did not, I'm assuming. But, like, you think, does that mean you put those kids under floorboards? Are you putting kids under floorboards now,
Okay,
Mr. Elderly Psychic Man, and then having people pay for you to find them, and then you get the money and the glory, but then you're a mass murderer?
this is his quote. I have seen the glimpse of the beginning for the kids. As I move there, I will have the vision right away. I can almost certainly identify the location of where the bodies will be found.
Dude, nah, you crazy. You absolutely
I have
crazy.
a 90% confidence that I can locate where the bodies will be.
90% confidence. Oh god.
And the police were not going to dig up this flooring of a private building based off a psychic's suspicion.
Seriously. Oh my gosh. Oh my god,
So,
people.
what does he do? He bands together his loyal followers and they raise $40,000 to pay the owner to dig up the warehouse flooring.
What in the world? People are culty. People are so culty. People are like, I will believe this man. Oh my gosh. They
No
literally paid him
indication
forty
of the
thousand dollars
demon.
to rip on the floor.
But
Oh
yeah,
my gosh. No.
so
No.
no indication that the Beaumonts have ever been there. Not a shred of evidence was ever discovered. So he made a brief failed visit to Australia before departing.
Yeah, what was
And
down there? Was there anything under these flooring?
so this and you know what? He got this wealthy businessman to actually pay for him to come visit. To pay for his whole trip down there.
Best
Um
schemer right there. Seriously. Elderly psychic best schemer.
he's now so he was claiming after it was done, his allegations were like, they are still there. We just haven't digged far enough.
Nah, brah. So they found absolutely nothing when they dug up this
Nothing.
guy's floor.
Nothing to say that the kids have ever been there.
That's insane. You just gotta keep digging. Just keep digging. Just keep digging. Trust the elderly man. He wants you to dig further. Let's just dig until the core of the earth comes up and we got lava coming from the sky. You know, just keep digging. Just go
Oh
further, further.
gosh, yes. Um so at this time now, now it's been 2 years, and of course nothing's been shown up, right?
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Well, this letter shows up in the mail in 1968,
Yeah.
and it was supposedly written by Jane herself, who would have been 11.
Okay. She would have.
And it's
She could write.
postmarked from Melbourne, Severn, and police believe the letter to be written in Jane's own handwriting after comparing it to her previous school assignments.
Okay. Okay.
So they considered them to be like plausible and actually treated it, you know what, this could have been actually authentic from her.
Okay. Yeah, at this point it is a big nationwide story. It's like global at the point, right?
Yeah. Okay. So the first letter from Jade stated the man was taking good care of the kids and everything was well. This man would stay unnamed through the letters and was reportedly providing the children's needs by making sure they were protected and fed properly.
Okay.
So then they received another letter um, by the man himself. The author of the letter asserted that although they had been named the children's guardians, they should be willing to relinquish any custody um, of their choice and give him custody of the
So he just
children.
wants the parents to be like, I don't want my kids no more. Bye. That is not how this works, honey.
And if you would like to meet me in person so that we can discuss this custody, you, Dad, have to wear a dark coat and white pants so that I know it's you. The The man told me to tell you that the police must not know at all. He said, if you do tell them, you may as well not come. So please don't tell them. And we look forward to seeing you next Monday. Please don't tell the police that the man does not mean us any harm. We still love you both.
Well, obviously the man is forcing her to write this letter.
Yeah.
And saying if I don't write it, I'm gonna kill your parents, most likely. Or I'm gonna kill your siblings right here.
Or I mean, maybe he's literally been grooming them. Like,
That's true. So maybe they do just think, oh, we're gonna be better off here than with our parents. Our parents did make us do this, this, and this.
yeah, who knows? So Jim actually did travel 600 kilometers in Victoria's Shrub and waited outside the post office for more than 3 days to
Wow.
wait for this man. So he dressed how he wanted to, was planning on meeting there. The Beaumonts called the police, who were already on the scene taking pictures. So of course he did call the police. He
Yeah,
called police. They
duh.
were surrounded. He sat there for 3 days and waited.
That's insane. Well, I would too, though. If it was your kids, you're like, I will do anything for my kids.
And after day 3, then the media got involved because they became suspicious of why he is sitting there.
Yeah.
So they came out and were doing a news spread on it too. I mean, of course, no sign
No signs of
of
the creepy man.
or the kids.
That sucks.
But he said, like, I felt like I had to go. I mean, because I would
Yeah.
always have this what if.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
then this third letter came in the mail. Had been apparently written from Jane and was written in same handwriting and said the man had been where he said to meet up during Jim's visit, but immediately departed after spotting undercover police officers and would never return. The man
Um,
would be keeping us and raising us as his own kids because the Beaumont parents have deceived him. So, detectives were actually able to DNA exam the letters and the fingerprints that have been on the letter. There had been no female DNA. It is actually a 41-year-old man who was actually a teenager at the time was writing this as a sick joke.
are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's insane.
It's disgusting. Like when you
That's just,
like
oh,
let's
that's,
give them hope and it's really disgusting.
oh my gosh, I don't understand why. Seriously, kids are rude and cruel. And why am I echoing?
I don't know.
I've got nothing up besides my sale. Is it on your end?
Mm-mm.
I don't know why I'm echoing. I stopped echoing though, so whatever happened, it fixed itself.
So, I mean, that's all. That's all we got.
That's crazy. That's seriously insane. Like, why? Like, a kid wrote those stupid letters? That would make me so mad. If I was that kid's parents, I would be like, you did what now? I'm going to smack you across the head until you get this out of your head that that's not okay.
Yeah.
Of course, handwriting
Like,
looks similar because they're the same age group.
well, that and they had posted on the media too, like, um, some of their handwriting before. So it wouldn't have been too hard to kind of,
Recognize and go with it.
yeah.
That's insane. So they never found the kids or the guy that was described.
Nope, they never found him.
Oh, that's so sad. So it
Yeah.
literally is still an
And they're
untamed
still they're
mystery.
still like missing this. This is still a full cold case. No one really, like, I mean, there's all speculation as to what happened to him.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So, all right.
I
Hey,
wouldn't know.
what? Hey,
I'm assuming they got kidnapped and killed and buried
yeah.
somewhere or thrown in
Or
the ocean.
taken for, like, I mean, there's so many things. They could have been sold as sex slaves.
Oh yeah.
So many horrible things. But hey, thank you guys so much for listening. Again, you can find us at crimetheoriespodcast.com. We have a Patreon. I'll go ahead and link that here in the bio too. We have Facebook, Instagram. Um, we are on TikTok, YouTube. I got on my Twitch, so we'll do that. Um, yeah,
And I'm going to
and
do my
I'll link
small
it down
token
here
that you
too.
can find me via my username on Twitch. I play
Yeah, if
a
you're ever
variety of
interested in
random
her
video
stuff
games.
as well.
Right there.
So, yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. I hope you enjoyed this wild ride. So sorry for the distraction of the dog and child, but postal worker did
The
it.
postal worker did it. The elderly postal worker totally ganged up with his postal worker
You
elderly
know what?
friends
Maybe it
and
was
did
that
it.
elderly woman herself, okay?
You never know, literally. People are crazy. You're convinced? I like that. I like that.
Postal worker could have done it and put them in that underground.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
The postal worker did it in the underground area that they just dug. They dug the wrong way. They were
And
supposed to
and
dig
the
up.
the psychic is friends with the postal worker.
Oh, yes. The psychic elderly. Yes. Yes. It's literally a whole elderly gang going on, guys.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So feel free to check out our website and our podcast. You can find us wherever you find our podcast. Um, and I try to go live once a week. Haven't decided on exactly what day and time. We're working on that. And so we're just right now kind of figuring that out. Well, and awesome. Thanks for watching.